Hey, have you ever wondered, have you had support from your brokerage like this? I'm here with John Roen. He's Senior Growth Consultant at Coldwell Banker, and he's here coming to visit our agents to be able to show them and learn about AEO. AEO is answer engine optimization. This is the new way to do searching, and it's growing in popularity. And we do trainings like this 4 days a week, and we support our agents by teaching them sales skills, negotiation skills, contract skills. We work on AI, and we work on marketing and lead generation. And our trainings are open to every agent from any company. So feel free to come on in, join us, and learn something. And we make the whole industry better that way. So come on down, say hello to everybody, and we will. Hey, hey. All right, and we will be happy to share our information with you. Office in the training center and also on Zoom. So I'm glad. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to introduce you to John Roen. He is Senior Growth Consultant at Coldwell Banker. He's also the person that we speak to every month in order to get updates and learn some new skills and tactics. And I'd like to introduce him as the expert on answer engine optimization. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you. Very excited to be here. I've spent the last few years on the CBR side, and anytime I get to be in front of agents, it makes me very, very happy. So the key thing I really want to focus on in this presentation is lead generation. You're going to hear terminology, ideas, concepts that are familiar, new ways of looking at them. But if you remind yourself that all of this comes back to lead generation, the whole conversation makes more sense. So I like to sort of warm up with a show of hands here. Licensed for more than 5 years? Good. Okay. Keep it up for 10. More than 10? More than 20? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
We can round up. We can round up. For those that have been in the business 15, 20, 25 years, August will be 25 for me because I got licensed at the age of 12. For those that have been in the business that long, has the way in which people find you changed over the years? Has the way in which you identify and generate new business changed over the years? I'm going to go with a hard yes from everybody because it supports my argument. But if we take that idea and just set it off to the side for a moment. Now, I got my license August of 2001. I was 20 years old living in New York. I worked in Manhattan for 18 years. And a couple of weeks later, 9/11 hit. And nobody wanted to go up in a big building ever again. So I got into townhouses because you couldn't make more of them and scarcity drives up value. And that was kind of how I got kicked off. Now, around that time, I remember people had this thing called a BlackBerry. And they could you sent an email from the subway? Are you nuts? Whoa, right? I remember that. Then we get into Facebook and suddenly it's not just a place for your crazy uncle to post things. People are putting listings up there. Are you crazy? Why would you put a listing on Facebook? Today, it's normal. What are the 2 letters you've heard every day of your life for the last 18 months?
AI.
AI. So here's my second question. Has the rate with which we, forget real estate, any industry, people, has the rate with which we adopt new technologies just gone up faster? Right? Took someone 9 years to get a BlackBerry. Took them 2 days to get ChatGPT, right? Okay. So we're going to combine those 2 ideas into the Attention Olympics, how we win more business through answer engine optimization. Fancy clicker here. See if it works. Look at that. Okay. Step 1 on the train is demonstrating digital authority. Now they've chosen 3 key markets here. Miami Beach, Beverly Hills, Short Hills, New Jersey. If you're not familiar with Short Hills, New Jersey, wait, this is Florida. At least 3 of you are from New Jersey, right? Right? Okay. It's an affluent Central Jersey suburb. The idea here is that each of these three markets, how you live there is something that can be demonstrated. And probably for the first time in the 35 times I've delivered this presentation, this is the most exciting because lifestyle is such a huge part of your market. So there's a lot more, well, I'll just say it, there's a lot more meat on the bone for this group than I've ever had the pleasure of, sharing. So when we're talking about demonstrating authority, this comes down to how do you live? Do you have a boat? Do you have a seaplane? Are you on a private island? Do you have part-time ownership? Is there a wealth and tax planning component to taking residency here from another state? How do you solve these problems? And it's not enough to just say, I know how to do it. You have to demonstrate that you know how to do it, which we're going to get into. Now, we covered some of this in the opening, but it's important to take sort of an evolutionary look at how we got to where we are. Now, I remember being 15 in high school, working at the local real estate company in my town in Milwaukee, where I live, and unpacking MLS books and putting them up on the shelf. And today, we fast forward all the way up to AI, which means SEO, which we all know about, search engine optimization, we've been hearing about that since forever, is dead. AEO and GEO, we're going to talk a little bit about GEO, but AEO is where things are headed today, which is answer engine optimization. Now, whether you've used it for something clever and real estate related or just to find out what's wrong with your dog, has anyone used AI? Okay, all right, fine. Now, if you've used AI, you know that the answers you get, they're not wishy-washy, right? It's go do this, go do that. They don't leave a lot of room for confusion. In the days of SEO, somebody might go on and say, I need a realtor in the Florida Keys. And I bet a lot of you kind of grind your teeth at the sound of the Florida Keys. Where, John? Right? Is it here? Is it there? It means something different to be in Key West versus Marathon versus, right? But today, and we don't know why we know this, but we all know it's true. We are coached, we've been coached to use AI in a very specific way. We all just know that the more specific you are, the better the answer you get. So today, someone's going to say, and I'm going to try not to embarrass myself by coming up with something specific here, but I need a condominium in Key Largo with a boat slip that has, I don't know, some other key feature, right? Who should I talk to? And it's not going to say, well, you might want to call this company or that. It's going to say, no, call her. Oh, okay, that's what I'll do. So if that's the case, how do we train that model to think of you? Now, GEO, which again, I'm not going to harp on GEO too much, but it stands for Generative Engine Optimization. You've probably heard agentic as a word for AI. This is speech in, speech out. This isn't a one-way street. Give me an answer, get an answer. Agentic AI is about having a fluid back and forth exchange. GEO is definitely going to be much more about authority. That's the word to think of. Anyone in the room global luxury certified should pay special attention to agentic and GEO. Well, where does all this work begin? There's this little company called Google, and they're doing pretty well. So the first stop on the train is to make sure that you have a Google business profile. Anyone in the room have one today? Keep your hand up if you know how to get into it. That's okay. That's okay. It's yes, meant to be funny, but also to illustrate a point. I was with a group in Kentucky, and so many of the agents, I know I've got one. I'm logged in on Chrome, John. I'm logged in under my Gmail. I know I'm doing everything right. And I said, when you started this, you did it with some Gmail account that you never use for anything other than Pottery Barn emails, right? Something like that. you need to take ownership of that profile and make sure that it's attached to an email you know how to access. So step one on the train, make sure your profile is claimed and accurate. Services are clearly defined. That might sound blindingly obvious, but if you started it in 2022, I guarantee you there's new features coming out yesterday that allow you to better spell out, I specialize in buyer agent services. I do property management. I'm a commercial agent, whatever the story is. You can be very specific today on Google. Description answers questions, photos are current, Q&A active. Let's stop on that last one, Q&A. Now, if I take out my phone and go on Google Maps and I look up any business, right? And I navigate to it, the bagel shop next door. I see reviews. That's a Google business profile. I've just interacted with it by navigating to it. And if everybody and their grandmother goes to that bagel shop next door, and I've never been here before and I just search for bagels, it's going to find that place. It might not be the best one on earth. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's the most interacted with. And I might ask questions in there like, well, this is the ex-New Yorker in me. Do they bake or do they boil? Okay, do they boil their bagels? Because I'm not going to go eat there if they bake them all. Maybe a nerd wants to know that answer, right? A bagel nerd. Anyway, my point is, maybe somebody doesn't know whether they can call you about a rental. Maybe somebody doesn't know if they can contact you about how to find a good lender in the area. Answer real questions. You've probably seen a screen like this in the past. This is called the Google Map Pack. So when someone just blindly Googles something, it's going to give them the top 3 results. We've already used the example next door of the bagel shop. Again, this may not be the best place, but it's the one that has the most reviews, the most pictures, the most updated. So I'm going to pause here for 1 second and focus on something called review velocity. Now, I did this exercise actually with your offices and with other larger companies that have a broad footprint. Let's say that we have, I don't know, 300 reviews on our Google business profile, which is amazing, right? But no one's reviewed you in 6 months. It might as well be 0. You have to keep driving activity to that page. So the frequency with which people review you has to continue. Now, here's something that most people go, you're kidding. Okay. I had agents who would get reviews without a transaction. People would go under buyer agency. We looked at homes for 8 months. Holly and Allie were the best to work with. They're the greatest. We actually didn't end up buying anything. We renewed our lease. We're going to try next year, but call them. People hear that and they go, how is that possible? Well, why not? They worked with you. You provided service, right? So let's keep going. There's a lot happening here. I'm going to break it down into a couple of key pillars for a great Google business profile. Number 1, please make sure it says you're a realtor. I know that might sound simple, but John Roen, realtor, Coldwell Banker. Please don't put any geographic, number 1 agent in Marathon. Please don't do that. It will get discounted. It will not help you. It is a claim. It has no proof. It might be true. Please don't do it. Name, title, entity. John Roen, realtor, Coldwell Banker, and of course, insert Schmidt, right? But make sure that when you spell it out, that it matches the way that the company has spelled out their Google business profiles also. So number 2, reviews. You might like that website that starts with a Z. You might like ratemyagent.com. You might, whatever. But nobody ever went on Redfin or Zillow to find a realtor. They went there to find a property. They happened to find a realtor. Right? And guess what? If they don't know like how to find a realtor, what are they going to do? They're going to Google it. Let's have them go to your Google business profile, right? Everything goes back there. 91% of all searches begin with Google. So next, weekly posts. I have an Instagram. It's not amazing, but there's stuff on it, right? There used to be more when I was recruiting for CBR, but now I've got to struggle to find more content to put up there. I have a LinkedIn as well. I don't have a Facebook, and yet I managed to live a happy life. Okay. But here's something to keep in mind. You're going to argue with me on this, and I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. You are all content creators right now. You are all putting something online about yourselves, big or small. Just take that same content and push it to your Google business page. It will take you 7 minutes a week. I guarantee it. So, hi, on in. So, continue driving content there. The last stop on the train again is the Q&A section. Q&A is not necessarily written. This is where we're going to get into the part that makes most people take a deep breath in and not let it out. Video. Because claims do not score, proof does. If I've got a video up there of me delivering a presentation to a group of agents, and I want to claim that my role is delivering presentations to agents, well, a video is going to do more lifting than me just typing presents things to agents, right? And you have so many more opportunities. Maybe you went out and saw 4 properties that afternoon that aren't your listing, but you're just checking on the market. Take 5 minutes. Tell them what you saw. Upload the video. Reviews. This is where I'm going to throw out a couple of different ideas that have gotten a lot of traction. So 2 keywords to write down: location and service. Every review needs to speak to location and service. But here's a pretty typical review. Frank was awesome. That's a nice thing to say, right? But it doesn't help Frank. Frank was the best listing agent for my 3-bedroom home in Marathon. We navigated some title issues. There was a slight delay before closing, but we ended up with a net proceeds that was more than what consumers don't think this way. We wish they did, but they don't. They need help. They need our help telling them how to talk about us. So yes, location and service, but service is a broad brush. Okay. So there's this mother-daughter team I brought over from KW a couple of years ago. And they did this thing that was really clever. They were just immensely likable. They got the best reviews. They weren't helpful reviews. So Allie, the daughter, who's about 32, Holly, the mom, is about 60. Allie started keeping a note about every transaction. We did an inspection. The appraisal came in light. We had to negotiate some repair, whatever, right? We looked at 82 homes, whatever the story is, right? Then she would put it into Gemini, ChatGPT Copilot, and ask for a 500-character review. Now, when is your client the happiest? Closing table. Bingo. They would have a closing gift in front of them with a little 3x5 postcard and a QR code that went to their Google business profile. And Allie would say, hey, I just texted you a review. If you like it, scan that code. Copy, paste, post. Every time. No one ever said, oh, I better stop and read that first. No, they're like, give me the keys, give me the keys, give me the keys. I want to get out of here, right? And so while they're photocopying our driver's license or we're waiting for the wire to hit or whatever the story is, nudge the person next to you. And dear God, show up for your closings. Sorry, that's just like a thing of mine. I always hear a lot of people don't show up for their closings. That might not be the case here. That's just me. You have such an opportunity to ask your client to do really whatever you most want. And what you want is a review, a good review that actually helps you. Now that might feel a little heavy-handed, but it works. You could also write the review and or give them the notes, have them do it if you want to be a bit more distanced from it, but we need more reviews going to our Google page. There is a prompt here. The deck will be shared with you so you guys can go in and take a look at these prompts. But there are other suggestions about how to phrase that review. So let's get back to Q&A for a second. How am I going to know what cues to A, right? What questions to answer? Shocker, I'm going to ask Gemini. Now, we know so much about real estate. We forget how little other people, consumers, we forget how little they know or how basic their questions are, but they're still important, right? So go on Gemini, go on ChatGPT. I'm going to keep picking on Gemini just because that's the one I use. Go on Gemini and ask, I need 5 questions that buyers are asking in today's market insert your market, 5 questions that sellers are asking. Take out your phone, do a simple 25-second video, answer 1, answer 2. Think of it as myth busting if you wish. But the questions aren't going to surprise you, but it's giving you an opportunity for content. So why on earth would we ever do this? Nobody goes online looking to find the number 1 realtor. They go online looking for an answer. Are you delivering answers? This is how we generate questions for us to be that authority that delivers answers. So what we're really building is our own AEO engine in this process. We're going to tell them what the reality of the situation is. Actually, I don't know, you don't need 20% down, or it's, not an all cash buyer market. Finance deals sometimes beat out cash deals, whatever the story is, right? I'm not going to make up the subjects, but you'll find them online. AI multipliers, we're going to talk about a little bit later. It's a very cool new technology. The result, though, is that every day we're spending just a few minutes updating our Google profile. This could be just 2 days a week even, but we are driving more answers there. Another prompt, we're not going to read line by line, but again, you'll get this deck, so you can have this prompt if you need it. Pop it into ChatGPT. It's going to tell you what kind of video to record. It's going to give you a script. I've used it for scripts, even though I have no trouble talking. Here's 4 more categories for you to focus on when it comes to content. Okay, so we want to focus on market authority, market data. We want to focus on solving real problems that come up in the course of a transaction. I know that in New York, especially selling townhouses, if you don't get a structural engineer out there to take a look at the rear facade and find out if it's been repointed in the last 5 years, you got all kinds of problems, right? Anyone ever bought a moisture meter? Right? I had 4, right? You go down in the basement with your moisture, like this is just the reality of going to the Greenwich Village Historical Society and finding out whether or not there's deeded height restrictions. And who the heck would know this? Oh, a realtor who does this often. So whatever those answers are to your market, these are just some suggestions for you to work on. The Q&A strategy, I really like this one because there's so many interesting nuances to real estate, whether it's about what you can build, how you can build it, whether there's tax abatements or whether there's, I don't know, riparian rights issues, whether there's, who's a good dock builder, or like, what can I lease? I think there's so many answers out there to questions people didn't know to ask that there's no end of content opportunity here. For those that are willing to go to that next level, you're in a really great position. I'm going to tell you right now, no one has done a better job of being on YouTube than Coldwell Banker Schmidt. No one. And I mean that because you need a foundation
Routine.
to build off of. Okay. And listen, If it was as simple as going into Moxie Impress and pumping out a 30-second video from the photos that are already there, it's a click. Go ahead and do it. Upload it to YouTube. If you've got that video on your phone, you did 25 seconds about whatever the issue was, upload it to YouTube. If you're not going to do at least 10 videos, don't bother doing it. That's all. I don't want you to do just 1 or 2 and go, I did it, I'm done. 10 for a minimum. Opus Clip, this is the AI multiplier. Has anyone ever heard of Opus Clip? Anyone using it? Okay. Hey, look at that. Two nerds is more than 0. I like it. If I've recorded a 25-second clip, I need a program that's going to chop it up into 10-second, 8-second bites and tell me which parts are the most hook-worthy, right? What should I upload? I'm not a video editor, nor do I aspire to be, right? I can't tell you how disinterested I am in chopping up video and spending more time up. Let this program do it for you. There's a paywall behind this functionality, but it will actually build B-roll that doesn't exist. Like, so if I'm narrating walking through the woods and I see a deer, it will create a video of a deer in woods. Like, it's crazy. Lean into it. So if you don't follow Lindsay Listansky, she is our national head of marketing. Lindsay's fantastic, lots of great ideas. We're going to pick on her Instagram a little bit. If you have an Instagram, the immediate call to action is to follow these steps, going into settings and privacy. Make sure everything you upload is getting indexed by Google, which is basically what it means when we say allow this data to appear in public searches. So change that immediately. When we're pushing content out to Instagram, we're not focused on likes and reshares, which I think we used to be really focused on. We should be focused more on the ability to upload more content, even if it is less frequent. I'll tell you more about what that means. And by the way, if you need a good example, let me see if I can get this thing out of the way. Oh, okay, it's just going to stay there. All right. Zeta is an agent up in Pittsburgh. There's nothing original here. Please copy. Find somebody who does this well and copy. Who are you? Where do you work? How long have you been in the business? What else do you do in real estate? She's a coach, and some people are social media mentors. Some people are, tell your story, tell it fast, make it fun. Look at mine. I put my little fun hat on for a day and made mine fun. So make sure that that Instagram says something about you that's clear and connects to the content you're pushing. Let's stop and talk about carousels. You all know what they are, even if you don't know that they're called carousels. This is a stack of pictures. So if you go on a post today and you see 10 photos and you get to swipe through on one post, that's a carousel. Now, how many of us in the last 45 days, 30 days, have gone online and seen a post, new listing alert, and there's one picture? That's a missed opportunity. That is very much a missed opportunity. Now, how many of you who saw that new listing alert, it was a picture of the facade. It was an exterior photo. It was the first picture, because that's what the photographer starts with. Dude pulls up in his car and goes, click, right? Right? It's deeply logical. Why do we keep doing it? So why wouldn't I take 5 or 10 pictures of the hopefully not 85 that you have? But why would I take 5 or 10 of those pictures that are really the most interesting and upload those to my Instagram in the order in which I want Google to index them? So here's Lindsay's Instagram. Video carousel, video, video, carousel, 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 video, carousel, video. Find the one picture post where she goes, I'm at the airport, wah, wah, something like that, right? Just everything here is doing a lift for her. It's telling part of her story. It could be a video of someone else, from someone else. In most cases, I guarantee it is. But carousels, if you look closely, and by the way, please follow her, CB_Lindsay. She's amazing. The carousels that she puts up there are almost always about AEO. It is her mission in life this year. But they're also ranked in the order in which she wants that content indexed, because she's going to come up as an AEO authority in real estate, which only helps her. So let's keep going. Content mix is a big question. I'm going to focus on just two categories here, 5% and 40%. I know lots of agents have a custom logo that they are wed to. I understand. It doesn't do anything for you. If you want to share information about your personal brand, about, I donate 5% of all my closed transactions to helping dogs that need tuxedos, whatever the story is, right? That's great. It really is. It's not going to do anything for you. The 40%, and I apologize if this seems dull, but the 40% is local market intelligence. People want to know what the heck is going on. Now, if somebody chooses to hire you because of the 5%, awesome. But we know they're going to find you because they've never found you before because of the 40%. You're answering a question that they didn't know they had or that they actually did have. This is an email that was sent to Lindsay from an agent in Boulder who won a $5 million listing off Copilot. Anyone want to guess what her referral fee is? Zero. Zero, zero, zero. I'm going to pause here. There's a great agent who liked to tell me that she got her license 2 years before I was born. She's dynamic. I mean, she's still kicking butt and taking names. And no matter what changed in our business, Mo would roll with it. Is that what we're doing? All right, let's go. I'm going to go do it. Had great energy and great attitude. What I liked about Mo is that she understood that she had the same problem as the gal who got licensed last week. I must meet new people. I must. I have to grow my sphere. Otherwise, I'll keep selling to the same 25 or 30 or 2 or 28 million people. Rates go down, deals go up. Rates go up, deals go down. Whatever the story is. We must meet new people. This is the most modern, free, and referral fee free way to generate new leads. And typically, after this presentation, I'll get an email a day or two, a week or two, even a month or two later, and somebody will say, I got 2 leads from ChatGPT. I say, great. And then I'll tell this story because they did what was ingrained in me from day one. Anytime you get a new lead, your last question, once they like you, once you've got their contact info, once you know when you're going to meet them, hey, how'd you find me? We should always be asking that question. How'd you find me? We'd love it if it was, oh, actually, I'm married to so-and-so's cousin's sister's brother's boyfriend's girlfriend. You sold them a house in 1903. But you're going to start hearing ChatGPT. 800 million active users a week. That is 1/10 of the world's population. It's happening. And why do we trust it? I don't know. Do we want to go down that rabbit hole conversation right now? No. So just from a mindset perspective, though, the questions we used to get when we talked about social media was, hey, there's this new thing called TikTok. Should I be doing that? That's the question, right? Should I be doing that? That was about trying to be found where people go to find others. This is a completely different conversation. This is about being found by the people who are electing to look for what they don't know, right? This is about being told you are the answer. And guess what? It's not a list of 25 people. It's not a list of 10 people. If you're lucky, it's a list of 3. If you haven't done it yet, please put in your primary market and ask who the top agent is, right? Try to ask it from the lens of a consumer. I have a home to sell in blah, blah, blahville, and I need to talk to a realtor. Who should I talk to? Right? Don't use the word agent. People don't say agent, people say realtor, right? Which company should I do? It's not what people do. They don't want to hire a company, they want to hire a human. But find out that answer, because whatever the answer is, it's going to surprise you, it's going to irritate you, it's going to confuse you. And here's the real opportunity, in my opinion. No one's doing this. At a brand level, this role doesn't exist. At KW, at Remax, at a lot of other brands, no one is doing this. People are asleep on this subject. You might have an EXP team in some market somewhere that took a class, they're trying to do it, maybe they're doing it kind of well, as an isolated incident. You have the foundation of incredible market share. You have the foundation of a national brand. You have the foundation of already great market presence online. If you do 40% of what I'm talking about, you'll do really well. If you do 60, you'll crush it. If you do 100, look out. So don't put the bar too high for yourselves. Oh, I can't go out and start making little selfie videos. Partner up with somebody in the room, partner up with somebody in the brokerage, film each other. Please don't look at it. You're not going to like it. Upload it. Just take action. Okay? Take action. It requires being consistent, being disciplined, which many of you already are. And a lot of it, these are things that a lot of us are already doing. I'm just asking you to put all that stuff somewhere else, right? Redirect. There's an agent, you can all Google Thomas Kersey. I don't know if you know Thomas, but Thomas is a Coldwell Banker agent in Hilton Head. And ratemyagent.com named him the #1 agent. He had the most reviews, the most 5-star reviews. Amazing head of hair. Anyway, Thomas is incredibly smart and a very good agent. So he takes screenshots of all of his Rate My Agent reviews because he's not going to stop that train. It's going too fast. And he uploads them to his Google business profile, because he knows that the AI engine is going to read the content of the image and use that toward his search results. And if you want a gold standard to copy, go check out Thomas's Google business page. There's a lot of great stuff there. But if you don't have one and you need to start tomorrow, google.com/business. That's it. If you have one and you're going to tell me, oh, John, I can't get it verified. I tried doing it and they sent me a postcard and it didn't work and I'll send your team a link where you can do a live video call with Google from outside. And it's going to be weird because you're going to be like, I am a realtor at Coldwell Banker Schmidt. I work at this address. You're going to walk in the front door. They're going to greet you, but like, it's going to be very staged, but it's going to work. Okay. This requires very, very little effort. And the more you do, the less you'll do later. And you'll get one lead and you'll double down. So thank you. Any questions? Any questions in virtual?
Hey, hope you enjoyed that content. If you'd like to learn more and attend one of our trainings, just like we did today with John Roen, and learn more about AEO and other things that we work on, you ask any one of our Coldwell Banker Schmidt real estate professionals when those trainings are. Thanks for joining.